Hey, what up, guys? This is Ryan with Brainstorm. So the lowest common multiple is basically the smallest number that two numbers will both divide into. They'll both go into, right? And there's a few different ways to do it. There's like a correct way to do it. A lot of people kind of guess, and then the worst way to do it is to make this one assumption that everyone makes. And so here's the kind of the correct way to do it. So you'd write 3 here, and you'd write 5 here. And all you do is you just start finding multiples of 3. Right, it's pretty easy if you're good at it. You could use a calculator, but it's pretty easy, right? Well, I know that 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, right? All I'm doing is 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5. Or you can just keep adding 3 every time. And these are all multiples of 3, right? 21, 24. And obviously this could go on to infinity, right? So that's probably not an efficient way to do it, to write it on to infinity, but this is just kind of show you the point, right? And then same thing with 5. You're like, well, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and that could go on to infinity. And your job is to find the first place where there's a repeat, right? So you're like, well, 3, there's no 3 down here. 6, there's no 6 down here. 9, there's no 9 down here. So where's the first place they repeat? One trick I'll give you is that instead of checking your smaller number into your bigger number, it's better to check your bigger number into your smaller number. So 5, are there any 5s? No. 10, are there any 10s? No. 15, are there any 15s? Wait a minute, right here. So you've identified, oh, that's the first place where there's a copy, right? So 3 definitely goes into 15 here, and 5 goes into 15 here. And so that's the first place where they repeat. So that's the lowest common multiple. Now be careful, because some of you little smarty-acks are like, hey, duh, Ryan, that whole process you just showed us was a waste of time, because obviously 3 times 5 is 15, and so they must both go into it because I just multiplied them. So yes, 15 is a multiple of 3 and 5, duh. The problem is it might not be the lowest, right? And oftentimes it is, but oftentimes it isn't. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. If you just do the whole multiply them. Right? What if I said, what's the lowest common multiple of 2 and 8? And you're like, I don't even need to listen to this guy. 2 times 8 is 16, so that must be the lowest common multiple. Well, again, careful, it's totally not, because let's write these out. 2, right, and 8. And if you start going, you're like, well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? Oh, I missed 10, sorry. 10, 12, 14, 16, infinity. We'll keep going, right? Well, then 8, you're like, well, that's 8, 16, and 24 and 32 and keep going. And then you'd say, oh, Ryan, I was right, because look, 16 right here, let's write this a little neater, 16 matches 16, just like you thought. But be careful, isn't there one ahead of time? Remember, check the biggest number first. Are there any 8s up here? So if I start with 8, there's an 8 right here. So actually, the lowest common multiple of 2 and 8 is actually 8, because he goes into 8, right? So again, just be careful. The whole multiply the 2 to get the lowest common multiple. It is true that him times him will always give you a multiple. That is absolutely correct. But will it give you the lowest common multiple? That's the problem, right? So let's do a few more examples, and then I think you'll be good at these. Right, here's a good one. So let's try, 8 and 10. And again, our job is to find the lowest common multiple. The first time they sort of repeat. And, you can be like, well, I don't know, 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, and 8 times 5 is 40. And don't feel bad if you're a little slower than me at this. You could use a calculator or just take it slower, right? 48, and I don't know, I may have to go higher, I may not, I'm not sure, to be honest. 10, it'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and who knows, right? Maybe I go higher, maybe I don't. Again, always look at the bigger number first, not the smaller number. 10. Does 10 repeat up here? 8, no. Does 20 repeat up here? No. 30, no. Does 40? Wait a minute, I totally see a repeat. 40. And yes, 40 is my lowest common multiple. Again, it would have been incorrect to say that 80 was my lowest common multiple. Yeah, 80 is a multiple, but not the lowest. 40 is actually the lowest. And one trick. Notice I keep saying that it's smarter to look at the larger number, his multiples, and check against him. If you really desperately want to do this in your head, which I don't recommend, if you're doing it in your head, don't say multiples of him out loud and check for 10. Don't say 8, 16, 24. Start the bigger number. 10. Does 8 go into 10? No. 20. No. 30. No. 40. Yes, 8 times 5. Or just don't even do it in your head. All right, I'm going to do one more. and then you guys are on your own. Okay, so let's do 6 and 9, 6 and 9, okay, you know, whatever, 6, 12, that was pretty sloppy, my bad, okay, so 12, 18, 24, etc., right, and 9 would be 9, 18, 9 times 3, right, is 27, 9 times 4, 36, on and on. Again, we look at the biggest number, 9. Is there a 9 up here? No. 18, is there an 18 up here? Sure enough, there's my 18, so my lowest common multiple between 6 and 9 is not 6 times 9, 54. It was actually 18. And back to the head in your head, I could have said 9, no, 18, yes, if you're really good at multiplying numbers. All right, you guys, that's it. That's how you deal with these lowest common multiples. They're pretty good. Do this process, especially for the first 1,000 that you do, just until you get really good at it. And then maybe you can start to do it in your head, but that'll be pretty sketchy. All right, good luck, you guys.